think it's fairly even. The biggest concern for me is how the early laning phase is going to go between Teddy and Duckdom, because you're supposed to, air quotes, get a nice advantage with the Varus in this lane matchup, but
looking pretty nice in this early stage of the game.
And he almost blinded it, but they decided to go for the Rel instead. I think that was definitely the right choice. A bit of a fight here.
Yeah, Chains of Corruption does just go wide. They had to use the heal to get that extra bit of movement speed, but still, that is KT with a button missing. And they no longer have that to utilize, as they did hit level 6 earlier. Duckdom actually using that teleport to get that level advantage.
Rich not even having to flash there. Really good movement. The ult misses, but I don't think he's too worried about his Yukao's going to come over for a punish.
Yeah, Magical Journey coming on through there as Peter only level 4. BDD comes on over, and Peter is actually going to survive. His casting is just going completely ballistic. There's the Infernal Chains, and Yukao is going to get taken down. First blood picked up by his opposite number in the mid lane. Sponge is going to be able to get in here to really challenge too much for the first one, as Cuz does lock that one down.
Committed the smite, so maybe he will be able to trade. As if you commit that one, that's kind of your, I was saying, I'm not holding grubs. I'm smiting and I'm getting out. And you only get one, so Spudge can secure this one without smiting, and then secure the last one, as long as his teammates stay relatively nearby.
Yeah.
And they are not.
Cuz going to move on over, as Sponge now not going to get flicked back, but he's not going to be getting this grub either. So DRX going to have to settle for 4. They're going to be pretty happy about that one, though. Yeah, the Ambessa also is going to get better and better, as now BDD forced to flash. As Sponge going to get thrown back into the rocks. Peter finds the Shattering Strike, as there's the Magnet Storm. Connects onto a couple, but there is a gorgeous use of the Impale. And now Casting is looking to try and turn it all around. Duckdom turns up as well. One after the other. He's knocking him down. And Teddy's pulled back. Casting just does a drive-by. Leaves that one up to his mid laner, as this guy is a man possessed.
A lot more power in team fights, a lot more consistent engaged, but the Aatrox he's still got, and he is still making work.
Well, Rich is going to see what he can find, as Umbral Dash is going to be the counter. As it turns out, Cuz now able to take this Cloud Drake, and oh man, that is a Hextech Soul. Hoverboard things. As all right, Sponge and Rich going to see whether they can at least grab a structure here.
Hey, grub power.
Yeah.
They will not get the first one, though.
They will not. And they will also miss out on Feats of Strength for that reason, as we've got some immediately upgraded Merc Treads here for Casting. As, yeah, DRX, they do commit to it. They do manage to take that one down. Duckdom here in the mid lane is very comfortably able to take control.
Relevant already, but you need to make sure they don't get engaged on.
Whoa! Peter is just looking for it. Okay, BDD, can you find a seismic shove? The answer is no, as now he's face-to-face with Rich. There's an Impale onto 2, but where's the follow-up? There is the public execution, but KT have kept most of them alive until now, as down goes Cuz. BDD trying to get himself out of there, as Duckdom finally able to affect the fight, but instead, he walks away. And as we say it, KT just go boom. We're able to get it back with some weird shenanigans, as maybe we're going to see some weird shenanigans here, as 63 health, and it's Ezreal that locks down the Rift Herald. Eye picked up there by Sponge, and it looks like we are not going to have any weird stuff unless Peter decides to die, which is perhaps what he's going to do.
Looking for another engage here with a good split of DRX right now.
Oh, shove going to be used onto Platter, and he's just dead. He does manage to temper Fate himself, but unfortunately, Fate, once it's tempered, it just comes out of the tempering, and then you're still dead. As True Shot Barrage is going to soften up Duckdom just a little bit, but now 4 versus 5. This is going to be a difficulty, as Peter was thinking about trying to find an angle, but it looks like it's just going to be Soul Point.
They have the Herald.
For maybe this outer turret. Yeah, the Rift Herald going to be used. Gets a nice charge. But now DRX, can they actually finish it off? And Sponge looking to try and drive his way out. Does manage to do so. It's now Teddy. Oh my god, Casting flashing on top of him. The Infernal Chain setup is gorgeous. And he just executes the Ezreal. Now he's looking for a little bit more. Doesn't get the Q knock-up, as the Impale is going to be there. But it's Casting that's dictating the end of the world here. It is not you, DRX. And Sponge is going to get brought back to reality. In goes Casting once again, as the Magical Journey is taken.
They try to push the mid turret. They will get it here.
Yeah, well, will they? Is okay. In goes Rich. BDD makes it out via the Death Chamber, and that's the Ambessa grabbing a kill. This turret is almost dead. It's like a
Duckdom, the game might be the final nail in the coffin.
Yep. And that is going to be Sterix now completed here as Teddy taking a lot of damage. There's the Flash Magnet Storm after the Arcane Shift, and Teddy gets sleepy. He does manage to cleanse it away, but now Docdom comes on over. Tepid Fate comes down, and it is just over for DRX. They lose their jungler, they lose their AD carry. They're going to lose the Dragon and maybe Otacon and this outer turret.
Yeah, and I mean, that's, I think, the final last straw here that broke the camel's back. DRX back broken, now going to come over here and look for some sort of entry into this Dragon Pit, but I just do not see it. No jungler, and it's Otacon, it's Hextech Soul. Teddy did not have Flash. His positioning so suspect, to be totally frank, in that last setup to try to push their way into Dragon.
Yeah, it feels a little bit like game one is wearing on DRX as we look here towards game number 2. That would have been a difficult time in the coach's booth and also a difficult time walking away from your PC after losing what should have been your game 1. I think we're seeing the results of that one right here as Hextech Soul on the board. Sponge looking to make his way in as Peter just trying to be a hero as they try and burst it down, and they do manage to do that. Cuz now in a bit of trouble here as the circle does go down, but remember, they have the Voracious Otacon. Rich is still going to die as Docdom puts an arrow in him as, what was that? Why are we taking that magical journey? That's so strange. Yukal might still be dead here as Casting's just having a great time. And Sponge gonna be the consolation Scorpion here for the Aatrox to slurp up. And remember, they have a Weaver's Wall, so that is going to be able to block any sort of approach. Yeah, Yukal's on vision, and Peter is just gonna play guard man.
Again.
Yeah, just gets them out of there. That is going to be the Baron over to KT. They have already got Hextech Soul. I mean, honestly, that feels like game over. Just because they've got Lethality Varus with Hextech Soul, and so that means Docdom is just going to take pot shots forever.
He flashed again somewhere as well, so he still doesn't have his flash up.
In fact, no one does, which is pretty ridiculous. There is a great Shattering Strike onto Pleta as BDD looks for the rocks, and he'll find him as Docdom is just going 1v2. Sponge now has no damage follow-up as the shield comes in, and I just don't think that Sponge is going to be able to do it. Docdom will be able to take him down. That's a double, as now Rich is getting tired, he's getting sleepy, and Casting's going to put him in the ground. This one's over, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, there in the final moments, 0 deaths on this Varus. It's a hard POM vote. Like, I feel like it was
pretty cool while he was doing it, which is very impressive. 5.3K on the Rebel Baron power play here.
Yeah, this is
seconds still to go.
Significantly larger than the last
I would say so.
Yeah, as Rich is looking for some bounty gold here in the top lane, that's the state of this game. He doesn't have TP. He is not coming home anytime soon, and they're just going to look for another inhibitor here.
Yeah, and remember, if anyone gets tagged by anything, they're almost just dead because you then get the follow-up of all of the CC. Rich will be able to get this, but it's in trade for everything. Trishot Barrage does connect onto 2, but there's a Magnet Storm onto the rest, and we blinked, and then 2 were dead. Down goes Pleta, down goes Sponge.
That's a
unending despair. That's what he just picked up, and honestly, I feel like he already had it. As there's a flick back onto Yukal, he's destroyed as well, and the public execution is unfortunately for Rich himself. Down go these Nexus turrets, and KT with a 2-0, but remember, we are not allowed to say it's clean because it absolutely wasn't, even if this game number 2 kind of was.
It was a messy 2-0. There is a lot to see here, Atlas, but at least the momentum does continue for KT Rolster.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.